When fish are schooling, what we want to do is catch the biggest fish in that school. What's a bait that'll do it that we really don't think about using a lot when schooling fish? But many times, it'll catch the biggest one in the school. Good morning, guys and girls. May 29, May 29, May 29, May 30, May 31. The month will be over. Does this month have 31 days in it? 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31, except February. May 29, we're looking at the book of James. James 1:19. My beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. Oh my goodness. Listen, be swift to hear, be slow to speak, keep your mouth shut, and don't get mad. Don't get angry. Make them do a bunch to make you mad. Don't get set off by any little bitty thing. Here's what I wrote about this. A jig can be fished in so many different ways. It's a very versatile bait. A jig. My buddy Tommy Mansour is maybe the best swim jig fisherman ever. And he's certainly been my teacher. Swimming a jig, not pumping it, dropping it on the bottom, bumping it around, simply throwing it out, winding it back in. Basically slow rolling a jig back to the boat. One of his keys to swim jig fishing, by the way, Chris learned how to do that a whole lot better than I did. She really became a good swim jig fisherman. One of his keys to swim jig fishing is to use fewer strands in the jig for better action. In other words, he cuts the size of the strands of rubber in his jigs where they're not kind of a blob coming through. They got a lot more action, a lot more tail action to them. And another is, and this is key right here, this is a big deal. And I've fished with some really, really good fishermen that violate this and they lose a lot of fish on a swim jig. Don't set the hook. Don't set the hook. Simply start winding faster when you get a bite and you'll miss fewer fish. In other words, when you get a bite, instead of setting the hook, simply start winding like that and then you can kind of pull back a little bit if you want. I always value Tommy Mansour's advice when it comes to swim jig fishing. As a matter of fact, I pretty much will take Tommy's advice on any kind of fisherman, a great fisherman. Today's verse is even more important advice. If every man and woman, this verse says, my beloved brother, let every man be swift to hear. He's talking to you girls too. If every man and woman, as today's verse said, would follow God's advice to be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath, what a wonderful world this would be. It seems like that we are absolutely trying to do just exactly the opposite of that in so many situations. We have so many times when some little simple word or comment offends people and they start rattling their big trap off and they get angry and mad at us and they just, it's just crazy, you know. And what sometimes you say, you might be just saying in fun or you might be saying in jest or you might not even think that it's offensive at all, and all of a sudden somebody's jumping down your throat about it. The fact is, you and I can do this. That's right, you and I can do this. We can be swift to hear. We can become good listeners. We can be slow to speak. We can hold our tongue. We can bite our tongue. We can not say some of the things that pops into our mind right off the bat. And we need to be slow to get angry. The old deal about when somebody says something that might be a little offensive to you or something that you might get a little angry or mad about or get a lot angry or mad about, count to 10. That's the old deal. Before you open your mouth and say something, count to 10. And count slowly like a southern boy. 1, 2, Earnhardt, 4, 5, 6, and so forth. Swift to hear, listen, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. You and I can. And we should do this because of what God has done for us. We should be that kind of person because of what God has done for us. And this is His advice to us for us to have a better life day by day by day with everybody all around us. Let's make it our goal today to listen, keep our yaps shut, don't be quick to say something, and don't get mad. Be really, really slow. In fact, make them really, really upset you before you get mad at them. I find sometimes you can just say, bless their heart. and they'll either walk away or quit complaining. Here's our tip for today, and it's a good one. A jerkbait. That's right, a jerkbait will often catch the largest fish when bass are schooling. Now, one of the things that we've done with that jerkbait is we turn that into a wake bait too a lot of times. We bend the lip of it, the tie-eye, we bend the tie off to the side, we put some suspend strips on it, we make it where it'll wobble and leave a wake on top of the water. Lucky Strike makes a bait called a Cajun wake. It does it all on its own. That bait will also work in schooling fish also, too. And we got fish schooling a lot of places in the South right now, guys and girls. Go out there and have you a great one today. And remember, golly, I sure do love you.